Hello friends, I am D.H. Ublapnavar, lecturer, Department of Applied Science. In this video, I am going to deal with you the unit number 3, important questions by name heat and properties of gases. So for your semester end examination, this chapter carries 20 marks. So 5 marks 2 questions, 6 marks 1 question very long answer, and 2 marks 2 questions, totally 20 marks, and this chapter is of 7 hours. So first I am going to tell you what are the important points you are going to study in these chapters. That is definition of heat, definition of temperature, then difference between heat and temperature, what is the definition of 1 joule of heat energy. So heat is a form of energy. So energy exists in different form. So heat is a form of energy which produces the sensation of hotness. So whenever you heat a body, the temperature of the body rises and body becomes hot. So heat is a form of energy which produces the sensation of hotness. And heat is expressed in joules. SI unit of heat is joule. So whenever you heat a body, the temperature of the body rises. So how do you define the temperature? It is defined as the degree of hotness, or temperature is defined as the amount of hotness. It is expressed in SI unit Kelvin. So there is a standard definition for 1 joule of heat energy. So water is taken as a standard substance and joule's constant is 1 divided by 4180. So joule's constant is 4180. It is found out by J by electrical method. So define 1 joule of heat energy. So 1 joule of heat energy is the amount of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 divided by 4180 kg of water through 1 degree Kelvin. So water is taken as a standard. This amount of water is taken, and if you want to rise the temperature of this amount of water through 1 degree Kelvin, so the amount of heat required is called as 1 joule of heat energy. So remember these three definition: define heat, define temperature, define 1 joule of heat energy. So what is the difference between heat and temperature? So heat is a form of energy. So temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of a body. So heat can do the work. So heat is a form of energy, means heat can do the work. So temperature cannot do the work. So SI unit or heat is measured in joule and temperature is measured in Celsius in CS system, or in SI system Kelvin. So temperature is one of the basic quantity we have studied in your mechanics. So transfer from a hot area to cold area. Always heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. So temperature increases when heated and decreases when cooled. So temperature increases when you go on heating a body and decreases when you cool a body. So you can add some more other quantities difference between heat and temperature. So heat is the sum of kinetic energy of all molecules. Then temperature is the average of kinetic energy of the all molecules. So there is a question for 5 marks. Write the value difference between heat and temperature. So you have to create a table and just you write the difference between heat and temperature. So in the study of heat, you are going to study what is the definition of specific heat. So different materials are heated for different temperature by supplying the heat. So this concept is expressed in specific heat. So specific heat is defined as the amount of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of substance through 1 degree Kelvin. So specific heat depends on the nature of the substance. For example, copper, aluminum are the two substances. If you take copper and aluminum same amount, and if you supply the same amount of heat, the rise in temperature changes. So this idea and concept is expressed in specific heat. So but specific heat depends on the nature of the substance, but it is independent of the mass of the body. The required to change the temperature of system depends on the process. So these are not asked, just you only remember define specific heat of a substance or specific heat of solid. So the amount of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of substance through 1 degree Kelvin. So we call it as a specific heat of a substance or a solid, and the specific heat is always denoted by the capital letter C. So let us discuss a very important question in this heat chapter. Derive an equation for specific heat of a substance or a solid. So the quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of unit mass of a substance through 1 degree Kelvin is different for a different substance. So there are different substances in nature, there are different metals, hence equal masses of different substances require different quantities of heat to rise the temperature by a given amount. So let us assume that capital Q is required to rise the temperature of a substance, and it is directly proportional to the mass of the substance, and it is directly proportional to the increase in temperature delta theta, and mass of the substance is denoted by m. Then you can express it mathematically. Q is directly proportional to m delta theta. So m stands for mass of the substance or a solid, theta stands for change in the temperature. Then between two variable always there is a constant. If you remove this proportionality sign, you are going to denote it by capital letter C. So if I take C to the left hand side, so C is equal to Q divided by, so C is equal to, there is a mistake, that is Q divided by m delta theta. So Q is the quantity of heat, then m is the mass of the substance expressed in kg, theta is the rise in temperature, and it is expressed in Kelvin. So in this formula, the letter capital C stands for constant of mathematics proportionality, whose value depends on the nature of the substance. What do you mean by nature of the substance? So there are different substances in the nature: aluminium, copper, silver, brass. If material changes, the specific heat also changes. Some materials are heated very fast, some materials are heated very slowly. I call it as a heat capacity. So you know that all metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, but from one metal to another metal, the specific heat changes. So it is called specific heat capacity or specific heat of the substance. So if let m is equal to 1 and temperature difference is also 1, then Q is equal to C. Then how do you define the specific heat capacity of a substance? It is defined as the quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of unit mass, m is equal to 1, and through 1 degree Kelvin. So SI unit of specific heat is, Q is expressed in joule, then mass is expressed in kg, then temperature difference is expressed in Kelvin. So looking at the formula, C is equal to Q divided by m into delta T. So Q is expressed in joules, m is expressed in kg, theta is expressed in Kelvin. So SI unit of specific heat is, J stands for joule, kg stands for kilogram per kilogram, capital K stands for Kelvin. Now next let us study what is meant by transmission of heat. So what do you mean by transmission of heat? How does heat flows? So you know something about heat. Heat is a form of energy. So heat is a cause. So SI unit of heat is joule. Then heat flows always from higher temperature to lower temperature. If you want to make the flow of heat from lower temperature to higher temperature, you have to work on the system. So transmission of heat, or I call it as a heat transfer. So there is a question asked frequently: explain the three mode of transfer of heat, or explain three mode of transmission of heat. So whenever there is a temperature difference between 2 points or two regions, heat is transferred from the region of higher temperature to the region of lower temperature. This transfer of heat takes place by means of three ways. So it has been experimentally found out that heat always flows in three methods. The first one is conduction, second one is convection, and third one is radiation. So there is a long question: explain the three mode of heat transfer. So what do you mean by conduction? Conduction is a process of transmission of heat in solid. So the first transmission of heat, conduction, is taking place in solid without actual movement of the particles. So all of you know that matter is made up of tiny particles. So in case of solid, particle molecules are tightly bound. So when you go on heating a metal at one end, so heat is transferred from hot end to cold end. So particles are colliding with each other. So heat is transferred from one molecule to another molecule. So remember, once again I want to tell you what is the definition of conduction. Please remember, conduction process is take place in only in solid. Conduction is a process of transmission of heat in solid without movement of the particles. Here particles are not moving from one point to another point, but heat is transferred from one particle to another particle. So in order to understand the conduction of heat, so I can give an example that when one end of a metal is heated slowly, it will be observed that the other end gradually becomes warm. So it shows that heat flows. So this method of heat transfer in solid is called as conduction. So second method of heat transfer is named as convection. So convection is a process of transmission of heat in fluids. So fluids are liquid and gas which can flow, so without actual movement of the particles. So in case of convection, heat is transferred from one place to another place by means of actual movement of the particles. So liquid and gases are second and third state of matter. Molecular arrangement is not strong like a solid. So in order to understand the convection, so there is an example. When a beaker containing water is heated, it will be observed that the water at the bottom comes up. It is because the water molecule at the bottom gets heated, becomes less dense and moves up. However, water molecules above will settle down. The process continues and water becomes heated. So once again I am going to tell that if you take a water in a beaker, if you go on heating this beaker at the bottom, so the water at the bottom is heated first. So heated water molecules becomes less density, its density becomes less, mass upon volume, so it becomes light, it rises up, and heavy liquid which is cold so comes down. So here movement of the particle takes place from one place to another place. So this type of transfer of heat we call it as convection. So there are two types of convection, namely free or natural convection and forced convection. So what do you mean by free convection or natural convection? The type of convection which results from the difference in density is called natural convection. So in our everyday life we can observe that in a room there is an air medium, it is a fluid. So due to the environment, air is heated, hot air rises up, cold air comes inside. So there is a circulation of the air medium. So this is a natural convection. So I can give an example that trade wind. So the wind is naturally blowing, that is trade wind and monsoon. A fluid heated in a container, just now you are given an example. If you go on heating a liquid in a container, so the hot liquid rises up and cold liquid comes down. So air cooling in a closed system. So air in a room is a natural convection. So just like you can give another example also. What do you mean by forced convection? So you can make the convection process artificially, for example by using the blower, by using the rotating fan. So if a heated fluid is forced to move by blower, fan or pump, the process is called as a forced convection. So the circulating blood in our body by the heart, the transfer of heat inside a human body, air condition or central heating system. So by air condition machine, so you can make the flow of heat from one place to another place by artificially. This is called as a forced convection. So third mode of transfer of heat is radiation. So what is the definition of radiation? So radiation is a process of transmission of heat from one place to another place without affecting the interviewing medium. So without affecting the interviewing medium. So whenever you are gone heating a material, so radiation is transfer of heat taking place. The material is not heated. That is, when you go on heating a metal, so heat start flowing from hot point to cold point and the temperature of the material increases. But in case of radiation, the material is not heated. Or you can also define radiation in this way also. Radiation is a process of transmission of heat in vacuum or empty space. So radiations are electromagnetic waves. So radiation, example for radiation is heat from the sun reaches the earth by this process. There is a natural example. We receive, sun is a main source for heat and light. The heat that we receive from sun to the earth is by means of radiation. So the air medium is not heated. It is the characteristic of radiations. So next, let us discuss a very important question in this heat chapter, frequently asked. Define thermal conductivity of a solid or a substance and derive an expression for coefficient of thermal conductivity. Thermal means heat, conductivity means ability. So how do you define the thermal conductivity? The ability of a conductor. Conductor means a substance which allows easy flow of heat and electricity. To conduct heat is known as thermal conductivity. So derivation of coefficient of thermal conductivity. So look at the diagram. It is a three-dimensional diagram. So there are 6 faces. So A, B, C, D and E, F, G, S. These are the two opposite faces. Heat is supplied at the surface A, B, C, D and heat start flowing from A, B, C, D towards E, F, G, H. So theta 1 is the initial temperature, theta 2 is the final temperature, then L is the length of the rectangular cube. So let us consider a conductor in the form of a block. It is a three-dimensional block. I call it as a rectangular block as shown in the figure. Let the surface area of each of the face A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H of cross section be A. Surface area means the top of the body is called as the surface area. Suppose its opposite face are maintained at a temperature theta 1. Means if you go on heating A, B, C, D, heat starts flowing from hot end to cold end. So there is a temperature difference between A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H. So it is experimentally found out that quantity of heat Q expressed in joules that flows from the hot phase to the cold phase is directly proportional to the cross sectional area. So you have studied what is meant by cross sectional area of the phase. So Q is directly proportional to A. So the quantity of heat flowing from hot end to cold end is also related to the how much temperature you are raising this conductor. That is, I call it as temperature difference theta 1 minus theta 2 between the two phases, that is A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H, and inversely proportional to the perpendicular distance L between hot end and cold end, or the distance between hot end and cold end. So Q is inversely proportional to 1 upon L. The force factor on which the quantity of heat is depending is directly proportional to the time. So for how much time you are supplying heat to this material is also depending, that is T. So I want to tell you one thing here. If this is a solid, so inside the material conductor, conduction process is taking place. Side you are taking place radiation or convection. So all the three types of process is taking place. So if you combine all these 4 factors, then Q is directly proportional to A, that is surface area or a cross sectional area. Theta 1 minus theta 2 stands for temperature difference, and T stands for time for which heat is supplied, and L stands for the distance between hot end and cold end. So by removing this arithmetic sign, proportionality sign, you are going to denote it by English letter K. So therefore K is equal to Q into L divided by A into theta 1 minus theta 2 into T. So the K is called as coefficient of thermal conductivity. What do you mean by coefficient of thermal conductivity? Constant of thermal conductivity. So if you take different material, the coefficient of thermal conductivity changes from one material to another. For silver it is different, gold is different, aluminum is different, then copper is different. If the substance changes, the ability of the material for the flow of heat also changes. So its value depends on the nature of the material. So next, this is a definition of coefficient of thermal conductivity. If you substitute all value 1, A is equal to 1, temperature difference is equal to 1, then time for is equal to 1, then X is equal to 1, Then coefficient of thermal, or if you substitute all value unity, then Q is equal to K. So coefficient of thermal conductivity of a material is defined as the quantity of heat flows in 1 second, opposite phase is maintained at a distance of 1 meter, and the temperature is maintained 1 Kelvin. So Q is equal to K. Then unit of thermal conductivity is J stands for joule, S stands for second, M stands for meter, and C stands for Celsius. In SI unit, J stands for joule, S stands for second, and M stands for meter, K stands for Kelvin, unit of temperature. So I read it once again: joules per second per meter per Kelvin. Now let us discuss next very important questions. What are the application of conduction of heat? So how you are going to make use of conduction of heat in the technology or engineering? So there is a lamp discovered by scientist Davy safety lamp. It does not catches the fire, so we call it as a Davy safety lamp. Friends, I want to give an example that. So today if you are using the matchbox, there is a name safety matches. What do you mean by safety match? Earlier there was no safety matches. If you keep in your pocket, due to the friction, it catches the fire. So first one is Davy safety lamp was constructed and designed by Humphrey Davy. So it is based on the conduction of heat transfer. So there is a surface film, thermos flask. In a thermos flask there is a two wall, and between their vacuum, so heat is not lost, heat is lost very slowly. So thermos flask. Then age of the earth. So Kelvin, a scientist, knowing the conductivity of earth is a body, earth is a body, so earth is heated. So knowing the conductivity of earth crust and natural rate of loss of heat from it, Kelvin estimated earth age to be 100 million years. Then thermal insulation means if you heat any body, then heat should be prevented for a long time. So the material that is coated on this material, for example, if you take a metal and if you cover it with a cardboard is a bad conductor of heat, so cardboard is called as an insulator. For example, electrical wire, so inside there is a metal, outside there is a rubber, we call it as insulation. So thermal insulation is a process in which heat transfer from object by any mode is prevented. The material used for thermal insulation are holes and sawdust and fibrous. So there is a question, important question. Write 5 application of conduction of heat. Just you remember 5 name, and just you explain one. Davy safety lamp works on the principle of conduction of heat. Surface film works on the principle of conduction of heat. So thermos flask, heat is prevented by exhausted or a vacuum. Age of the earth. The age of the earth is estimated 100 million year by means of conductivity of earth. Thermal insulation means preventing the loss of heat by any mode, conduction, convection and radiation is called as a thermal insulation. So what are the applications of convection, that is second mode of heat transfer? So ventilators. So in a room there is an exit for hot air. So in a room air is heated by means of convection due to the environment. Hot air goes outside and cold air comes inside. There is a circulation of heat. So I call this as a ventilator. So ventilator is nothing but a window which is provided at the top of the ceiling of a room to remove the hot air. Hot air density is always less. Then trade wind. So this steady wind blowing from northeast towards the equator of the earth is called as a trade wind. Once again I am going to remain. So trade wind is a natural example. So on the earth, due to the temperature difference, the wind is blowing. The steady wind blowing from northeast towards the equator is called a trade wind. Then land and sea breeze. So very interesting. When there is a side by side land and sea, so during daytime land is heated. The hot air from land to the sea move towards due to the difference in the density. I call it as land wind. So during night time sea is heated, So the hot air from sea to the land comes due to the difference in the density of the air medium, and cold air is coming from land to sea. Once again, what is meant by land and sea wind? So in the seaside location, during the daytime, the land surface gets heated more strongly than of the sea. The air in contact with the land surface also get warmed up, and convection is set up with the hot air from the land rising up comparatively colder air from the surface of sea flowing towards the land surface taking place. It is called as sea breeze. So during, what is the meaning of this? During daytime, cold wind is coming from sea to land because sea is not heated during daytime, and cold air is coming from land to sea during night time because sea is heated at night time. So it is a natural process. The cold air is coming during daytime from sea to land, and during night time cold air is coming from land to sea. I call this as a sea, land and sea wind. It is a process of natural convection due to the difference in density. So central heating system. In cold country, the temperature of water falls below 0 degree centigrade. The rooms of a building are kept warm by central heating system based on the principle of convection. So radiation. So there is a chapter in physics, black body radiations. So radiation is having a property, that is bright and sunny surface are bad absorber of heat and good reflector of heat, and black and rough surface are good absorber of heat and bad reflectors. So aeroplane are painted with white color. So white color are a bright surface, so heat is not absorbed on this aeroplane. So aeroplanes are painted with white color, so absorption of heat is less. Solar cooker is painted with black because black color absorbs more heat, so cooking is done very fast. Highly polished silver walls prevents heat loss. So greenhouse effect is a natural process. Radiators are painted with black to radiate heat away. Next, let us study a very important question, many times asked in your examination. There is a in your question bank also, a gas loss. So what is meant by gas loss? So first I am going to tell you, gas is a third state of matter, so which is having no definite shape and size because molecular arrangement is very weak. So a gas is having three variable: pressure, force divided by area, then volume, size of the gas, temperature, amount of hotness. So the three variable cannot be varied at the same time. So this was studied by the three scientists by name Boyles, Charles and Gay-Lussac. So what is the gas loss? The interrelationship between pressure of a gas, volume of a gas and temperature of gas is known as gas loss. This was first studied by the three scientists by name Boyles, Charles and Gay-Lussac. So what is the question asked in your examination? State three gas laws. So each gas law carries 2 marks, totally 6 marks. So let us first study Boyle's law. So this law gives the relation between pressure and volume. So at constant temperature, what does the Boyle's law states that? Which states that the volume of a given mass of a gas is inversely proportional to its pressure at constant temperature. That is, if volume increases, pressure decreases because force per unit area decreases and temperature remains constant. So Boyle's law states that volume of a given mass of a gas is inversely proportional to pressure at constant temperature. If V is the volume of a gas and P is the pressure, and how you are going to express mathematically, V is inversely proportional to 1 upon P. Then if I remove the proportionality sign, so between two variable always there is a constant, the product PV is equal to constant. What does Charles law states that at constant pressure, if the pressure remains constant, the volume of a given mass of a gas is directly proportional to its absolute temperature. So what do you mean by absolute temperature? The SI unit of temperature is also called as Kelvin temperature or absolute temperature. So if the temperature of the gas increases, the size of the gas also increases. So when you go on heating a gas, this expansion of the gas take place, the size of the gas also changes. I call it as the volume of a gas. So let us once again tell you, the Charles law states that at constant pressure the volume of a given mass of a gas is directly proportional to its absolute temperature. What is the mathematical formula for Charles law? V is directly proportional to capital T. So always SI unit of temperature is denoted by capital T, CGS unit is denoted by small t. So V is directly proportional to T. So or V by T is remains constant. The ratio of volume to the absolute temperature remains constant. So next one, third gas law is a Gay-Lussac law. Gay-Lussac is a name of a scientist. He states that at constant volume the pressure of a gas is directly proportional to its absolute temperature. Means if you go on heating a gas container, pressure also increases. So P is directly proportional to T, or P by T is equal to constant. So there is a very long question, or for 5 marks also it is asked. First law and second law 2 marks, and third law is 1 mark, or all 3 gas laws carries 2 marks. State 3 gas laws and explain. Boyle's law, Charles law and Gay-Lussac's law. Let us study the next topic in your syllabus, that is what is meant by an ideal gas or a perfect gas. So there is a formula for perfect gas equation. So just now you have studied the 3 gas laws. If a gas obeys the Boyle's law and Charles law at a different temperature, we call it as a perfect gas. The gas which obeys the gas laws are called ideal gas or perfect gas. So Boyle's law and Charles law are valued for only certain range of temperature. A perfect gas obeys Boyle's law and Charles law. Applying these laws, a gas relation between temperature, pressure and volume is obtained. This relation is known as a gas equation or equation of state. So what is the question, that is derive perfect gas equation or derive PV is equal to RT. So there is a no gas such as perfect gas, but there are some gas such as hydrogen, nitrogen and helium and air which obeys these laws within a narrow range of temperature. So what is the proof for the perfect gas equation? Boyle's law and Charles law. So let us consider V be the volume of a given mass of a gas and P the pressure and absolute temperature T. So volume is equal to size of the gas, then pressure is equal to force divided by area, molecular force divided by area, and absolute temperature is SI unit of temperature. According to Boyle's law, V is inversely proportional to P when temperature is kept constant. According to the Charles law, V is directly proportional to T. Then combining these two equations, because a perfect gas is a gas which obeys Boyle's law and Charles law. So if I combine these two equations, so V is directly proportional to T by P. If I remove the proportionality sign, so I am going to get a constant quantity. PV by T is equal to constant and it is denoted by K, or it is also denoted by in some book R. So this is known as perfect gas equation. This is known as gas equation. The volume of constant K depends on the nature and mass of the gas. That is, it is different for different mass of the same gas. For some masses of different, therefore it is known as a specific gas constant. So PV by T is equal to R, therefore PV is equal to RT. So PV is equal to RT is a perfect gas equation. Once again I am going to memorize that. What is the question? Define perfect gas or ideal gas. Know the definition. Derive PV is equal to RT or perfect gas equation. Assumption V, P, V and T, and proof is applying Boyle's law and Charles law, combining these two equations, writing the mathematical relation, removing the proportionality sign, denoting the letter by R. So R is called as a in gas constant. So next topic you are going to study is a thermodynamics. So thermodynamics is one of the branch of physics. Thermo means heat, dynamics means conversion of heat into mechanical energy. So what is meant by thermodynamics? The branch of physics which deals with the relation between heat and work is called thermodynamics. So thermodynamics deals with the conversion of mechanical energy into heat or heat into mechanical energy. So there are 3 laws of thermodynamics. First one is zeroth law of thermodynamics, second is first law of thermodynamics, and next is second law of thermodynamics. So zeroth law of thermodynamics tells the thermal equilibrium condition of three bodies. And first law of thermodynamics gives the relation between heat energy and mechanical energy. The second law of thermodynamics gives the direction of the flow of heat, that is from higher temperature to lower temperature. So what does, there is a question, define thermodynamics. Just you define the branch of physics that deals with the conversion of heat energy into mechanical energy. State the zeroth law of thermodynamics. It states that if two systems A and B are separately in thermal equilibrium with the third, for example, if there are three bodies A, B and C, so A is at same temperature with the C and B is also at same temperature with C. For example, TA is equal to TC, TB is equal to TC. Then A and B are in thermal equilibrium with each other. So try to understand what is meant by thermal equilibrium. If the temperature of the two bodies are at same, then I call it as a thermal equilibrium. So the zeroth law of thermodynamics states that if first two bodies A and B are in thermal equilibrium with the third body, then the first two bodies are in thermal equilibrium. The mathematical formula is TA is equal to TC, TB is equal to TC, then TA is equal to TB. So what does first law of thermodynamics states that? It states that when certain amount of heat is supplied to a system is used for increasing the internal energy and remaining in doing the external work. For example, if you consider a system that is a gas container, it is made up of molecules. If you are providing heat externally, so before supplying the heat, the kinetic energy of the molecule is Q1. When you supply heat to a gas container, so heat energy is converted into kinetic energy. So the kinetic energy of the molecule increases to Q2. So Q2 minus Q1 is increase in internal energy, or I call it as kinetic energy. And we have stated that whenever you heat a substance, the size of the body increases. So increase in body is called as external work done. So or you can just simply tell that heat supplied to system is the sum of increase in internal energy and external work. So if dq is the amount of heat given to a system, then du is the increase in internal energy, then dw is the external work done by the system, then dq is equal to du. Q is the amount of heat supplied, dq is the internal increase in the internal energy, that is kinetic energy, and dw is the external work, expansion of the gas. So which are the engines working on the first law of thermodynamics? Diesel engine, petrol engine, steam engine work on the principle of first law of thermodynamics. So all of you know in automobile engineering, so in a engine there is a cylinder and upside there is a rod, we call it as piston, and cylinder is having a gas. When it is heated there is an expansion, piston rises. So all this type of automobile engines are working on the first principle, first law of thermodynamics. So what does the second law of thermodynamics states that heat cannot flow from lower temperature to higher temperature without the help of external agency. Means always heat flows from lower temperature, higher temperature to lower temperature, but it can make to flow from lower to higher by with the help of external agency. So in this way you can state it, a self-acting device cannot transfer heat from a body at lower temperature to a body at a higher temperature without an external agency. So for example, on second law of thermodynamics, which are the machines working? Refrigerator, air conditioned machine, water cooler. So heat flows from lower temperature to higher temperature. So current is supplied to a system and there is a compressor, it pumps the heat from lower temperature to higher temperature. So this is the statement of second law of thermodynamics. So next there is a common question, name the types of thermodynamic process. What are the two types of thermodynamic process? Isothermal process and adiabatic process. Isothermal means same temperature, adiabatic means no exchange of heat from the system to outside and outside to the system, but there is a process is taking place. So name the two types of thermodynamic process, isothermal process and adiabatic process. What is an isothermal process? Isothermal process in which change in pressure and volume take place at constant temperature. For example, I can give an example. When sound travels in air medium, so air medium comes near to each other, so that is pressure increases, then volume decreases, but the temperature does not changes. I call this as isothermal process. So next, what is meant by adiabatic process? An adiabatic process is is one in which volume, pressure and temperature changes such that heat is neither allowed to leave the system nor allowed to enter the system. So in a thermodynamical process, if change in pressure, volume and temperature take place in such a way that heat is not lost to the surrounding and from surrounding heat is not enter inside. So I can give an example for isothermal process. If you ice is kept, so it becomes water, solid is converted into liquid. If you go on heating the liquid, it is converted steam, it is gas, it is an isothermal process. So conversion of ice to water at 0 degree centigrade is an isothermal process. Boiling of water is an isothermal process. So at 100 degree centigrade the water is converted into steam. So the example for adiabatic process, that is a compression of air in a tire. So heat is not lost to the outside and from outside to the inside. There is a compression of air. Pressure, volume and temperature changes in such a way that there is no there is no exchange of heat from outside to the inside, inside to the outside. Thank you. I hope you liked this video and I have clear all this basic idea. So please remember the important question in this chapter. Thank you very much.